you guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Madison Hill, and yes, it's time for another Pop Off with Madison. For today's Pop Off, you guys, I'm going to be talking about Kim Kardashian and Taylor Swift because the tea is hot. So for those of you who might have missed yesterday's live happy hour hang, I did break down the entire interview and article that Taylor Swift did with Time Magazine because she was named Time Magazine's Person of the Year. So if you want a full breakdown of the article and everything that was discussed, including what she had to say about Travis Kelce, definitely go check out the end of yesterday's happy hour hang. I believe we started discussing it about 45 minutes in because for this pop off, I'm only going to focus on Kim Kardashian and Taylor Swift. And that's because there was a portion of Taylor's interview where she discussed that now infamous phone call with Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, which obviously caused people to question, has Kim Kardashian ever apologized to Taylor Swift over that now infamous phone call? And thanks to a brand new report from TMZ, we finally have our answer. You guys, like I said, the tea today is just too freaking good, and because I know your time is precious as we go into the weekend, I'm gonna go ahead and get straight to it, and let's get straight to unwrapping these Taylor Swift and Kim Kardashian facts. Alright, so as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, Taylor Swift was named Time Magazine's Person of the Year, and overall, I'd say the Time Magazine piece about Taylor Swift really focused on how Taylor has had some pretty major setbacks in her career. She's had some negative things happen to her. However, those negative things and those setbacks have led to some of the biggest moments of her life and her career. For example, she talked about how when she was starting out, she thought she got her big career break when she was asked to open for Kenny Chesney on his tour, but then the tour ended up being sponsored by a beer company. She wasn't 21, so therefore she wasn't able to do the tour. She felt like she had missed her big break, but then Kenny Chesney ended up writing her a check anyway. She said it was more money than she had seen at the time, and with that check, she was able to pay her band, and ultimately it kind of helped kick off her career. So major setback thinking, oh wow, I just lost my big break, to obviously leading to kicking off Taylor Swift's career. Another example that she brought up was obviously when Scott Borchetta sold her masters to Scooter Braun, someone who Taylor has very openly always said did not like her and treated her poorly. Obviously, this was a major setback, a major blow to Taylor. However, without that happening, she would have never done the re-recordings that we all have now. We would not have these vault tracks, and it's quite possible we would have never gotten the Eras tour. Now, in addition to those setbacks, obviously another one of the major setbacks that Taylor Swift discussed was that infamous feud with Kim Kardashian and Kanye West that dates back to 2016. Because without that time in her life, we never would have gotten Reputation, we never would have gotten the Taylor Swift that we have now, we never would have gotten the Taylor Swift that has a completely different relationship with the public, but still, back to what she said about Kim and Kanye during this Time Magazine interview. So real quick reminder for those of you who might need it, because they did give a little background information, when Kanye West released his song Famous, he has a line in there where he talks about hooking up with Taylor Swift, and he made that famous. When Kanye released that song, Taylor Swift came out and spoke out against the song. Kanye claimed that he got consent from Taylor to use the line. Taylor said she didn't consent. And then Kim released video of a phone call that went down between Kanye and Taylor, where Taylor seemingly consented to Kanye using that line. After that, essentially the entire world turned on Taylor Swift. They called her a snake, they called her a liar. And in that moment, Taylor said it felt like a quote career death. And she went on to tell Time, quote, "Make no mistake, my career was taken away from me." Taylor then went on to elaborate about this time saying, quote, "You have a fully manufactured frame job in an illegally recorded phone call, which Kim Kardashian edited and then put out to say to everyone that I was a liar. That took me down psychologically to a place I've never been before. I moved to a foreign country. I didn't leave a rental house for a year. I was afraid to get on phone calls. I pushed away most people in my life because I didn't trust anyone anymore. I went down really, really hard." Now, in 2020, Kim Kardashian was forced to address the situation when the entire phone call leaked on the internet, and it did in fact vindicate Taylor Swift. When the entire phone call was leaked, it proved that Kanye West did not actually get consent from Taylor to call her a on his song. The line that Kanye presented to Taylor was a watered down version of what he actually said. So again, this proved that Taylor was in fact not a snake and not a liar because she did not consent to Kanye calling her like Kim and Kanye were trying to put out to the public. So in 2020, when this all came out, Kim took to Twitter to defend herself, and first she called Taylor, quote, self-serving for reigniting the conversation because millions of people were actually suffering. Again, she said this because it was during the pandemic. She went on to say her only issue around the situation was that Taylor lied through her publicist, saying Kanye never called to ask my permission. She said that they clearly spoke and that nobody denied the word bitch was used without her permission. So my favorite thing about Kim's tweets here is she's getting very nitpicky and she's really splitting hairs over small details, which if watching Real Housewives has taught me anything, whenever someone is splitting hairs like this saying they clearly spoke, he just didn't get her consent to use the word but they clearly spoke, and that's what I was trying to say. When someone is splitting hairs like that, that tells me everything I need to know about their guilt. Again, shout out to Housewives for teaching me that, but I'm gonna go ahead and continue. Kim concluded her defense saying she never edited the footage. She called that another lie. She said she just posted a few clips to Snapchat and that the full video leak doesn't change the narrative. It's so funny to me. I didn't edit the video. I only selectively posted certain clips that fed our narrative to Snapchat. Like, basically the same thing, but okay. Anyway, despite it all, you guys, in Taylor's Time Magazine interview, she made it clear that she does not feel the need to get back at her enemies, like Kim Kardashian, Kanye, or Scooter Braun, Scott Borchetta. As Taylor said, quote, nothing is permanent, so I'm very careful to be grateful every second that I get to be doing this at this level, because I've had it taken away from me before. There is one thing I've learned. My response to anything that happens, good or bad, is to keep making things, keep making art. But I've also learned there's no point in actively trying to quote unquote defeat your enemies. She then finished this saying, trash takes itself out every single time. Now, Kim Kardashian has yet to say anything publicly as of the recording of this video since that Time Magazine article came out, and that obviously brings us to the fresh tea that I have for you guys. This new report from TMZ that's giving us some insight as to has Kim Kardashian ever actually apologized to Taylor Swift? Now, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. This new report from TMZ was kind of shocking to me because you know they always ride that Kardashian train super freaking hard. But in this report, you guys, a source said that Kim Kardashian has never apologized to Taylor for the phone call situation. And apparently, even after that Time Magazine piece came out yesterday, she still has said nothing. In fact, the exact word TMZ used was, it's still crickets. This TMZ source said that, interestingly enough, Taylor would accept an apology from Kim under one little condition, and that condition is that Kim Kardashian needs to do it publicly. TMZ said one source put it this way, quote, a public shaming calls for a public I'm sorry, which seems fair to me. But then this TMZ source continued saying that Taylor feels Kim and Kanye were in the wrong, and Taylor was, quote, dumbfounded when Kim doubled down on her position after the full conversation leaked. That doubling down being what she posted on Twitter in 2020 that I just filled you in about. TMZ goes on to point out again that Kim feels like the phone call was clearly enough, and they also pointed out how she briefly mentioned this conversation during a 2016 interview with GQ. Kim's defense of the word being used is the fact that she's used often in rap songs, so she doesn't really know why Taylor Swift was so upset. But again, I want to clarify, because not only did TMZ really hammer this home, but also anyone who's been following the situation from 2016, Taylor's main issue was the fact that Kanye called her a in his song. That is really the word in the song that triggered her, and that is what she was upset about that she did not consent to. This TMZ source then ended their insider info saying that Kim and Taylor have no relationship, obviously, but Taylor is willing to bury the hatchet, especially now that Kim and Kanye are divorced, but she's, quote, not holding her breath for an apology. I told y'all the tea was hot, and obviously I have a lot of thoughts about the situation, so we're gonna go ahead and make this pop-off official and get to that shambong. We even have a fresh bottle of sham for this. Busting it out. Okay, so I know a lot of anti-Taylor Swift fans and anti-Taylor Swift people, when they saw that she brought up Kim Kardashian and Kanye West in her Time Magazine interview, a lot of those Taylor Swift haters were saying, why is Taylor bringing up Kim and Kanye? It happened so long ago. Get over it. Kim Kardashian doesn't care. Kanye West doesn't care. Blah, 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 blah. And my question to these people is, if somebody wronged you so badly that you were psychologically down, you couldn't leave your house, you couldn't face other people, you felt like you couldn't get on the phone. If somebody wronged you that horribly, how would you react to somebody saying, Well, that was 7 years ago. Get over it. They don't even care anymore. Why are you still upset? How would you react if somebody did that to you? You probably wouldn't react very well. And if you're sitting there saying, Maddison, I don't care, I would have moved on, well, good for freaking you. I'm a Taurus, and I can tell you for damn sure, I wouldn't move on that easily. Absolutely not. I feel like most people would still be pissed until that person who wronged them so horribly sat down in front of them and said, I'm sorry for what I did to you. Again, I'm telling you, people who have done things to me or my family or people I love, and if they've never apologized, it doesn't matter how many years it's been. If I see that person on the street, I'm giving them the freaking side eye. And if someone asks me about that person who's wronged me or somebody I care about, I'm being honest and I'm dragging them for filth. So personally, I don't blame Taylor Swift for bringing up this Kim and Kanye phone call at all. And for those of you who are going to try to hate me and say, well, Maddison, of course you're not going to blame Taylor Swift. You love Taylor Swift. You've always talked about how you're a Swiftie. Of course you're going to feel like she's never in the wrong. You're damn right. I am a Swiftie and I do love Taylor Swift, but that's not why I feel like she has every right to bring this up. I personally feel like she has every right to bring this up because what happened with Kim and Kanye was a defining moment not only in her life, but also in her career. She thought her career, everything she worked for, you guys, was over. She felt like it was a career death. She felt like her career was taken from her. And without her feeling that way, we would have never gotten Reputation. We never would have gotten any of the albums that Taylor has released since Reputation. We wouldn't have the Taylor Swift that we have now. If she did not have that moment and be able to bounce back from it, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. At this point, we would be saying Taylor Swift who? Remember that girl who did country and pop? Yeah, she was great. So you know what? If she wants to talk about that major life moment that happened to her and almost defined her career while she's being interviewed for Time magazine because they're naming her Person of the Year, I say more power to her. And you guys, I also want to point out, even the person who did the piece, even the person who interviewed Taylor Swift, they pointed out how when she was talking about how down she was from this Kim and Kanye moment and how she felt like her career was over and she was canceled and whatever, this person even said they almost wanted to push back and be like, yeah, but you were still Taylor Swift, still had all of this music, you still had millions of dollars. But even the person who did the interview with Taylor Swift took a step back and said, you know what? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what she still had. She felt like it was a career death. She felt like her career had been stolen from her. She felt completely down and not like herself at all. So it doesn't matter what we perceive that she still had during that time. It matters how she felt. And that's what needs to be acknowledged. Now, as far as Kim Kardashian never apologizing, obviously not super shocking because she clearly feels like she hasn't done anything wrong. But again, I don't know how you could read that Time magazine piece and still sit back and be like, you know what? I feel nothing. I'm not guilty at all. Because I find it hard to believe if, let's say, somebody tried to frame North and paint North out to be a snake and a liar, and North felt the consequences of that, and North felt like she had to move to another country, lock herself away in a house for a year, not get on the phone. I find it hard to believe that Kim Kardashian would sit back and be like, well, Northie, you did pick up the phone for that man, and don't you know, is something that's used in rap songs, so pick yourself up, girly. What are you so upset about? No. Are you kidding me? Her mom clause would come out. She would be out for blood. She would be out for an apology. So the fact that Kim, even I assume after reading that Time magazine piece, again, we don't know if she has. She could be living under a rock, but we know that the Kardashians stay up to date on how the internet is reacting to things about them. We saw how Kim reacted, when she was getting backlash for her interview with Variety. People are up in her Instagram comments. Like, Kim Kardashian knows what was said. At least I believe she does. That's my opinion. The fact that she could read about how she destroyed somebody and made them feel that low and still not apologize is crazy to me. I mean, even if she still wants to split hairs and say, my point was just the fact that Kanye called you, I still don't think he should have to get your consent to call you a even if she still believes all of that, I think she could still apologize and say, hey, you know what? I apologize for how my actions made you feel. That I feel like would be all that Taylor Swift needs. Publicly, obviously, as well. But if Kim really deep down does not feel like she did anything wrong, I think at the very least she could apologize for how she made Taylor feel. Now, having said that, do I think that Kim is going to apologize? No. And even if she does finally apologize, I have a lot of doubts that she would ever apologize apologize publicly. Unless, actually I might take that back, unless they could use it for a storyline on the Kardashians, then maybe then she might, because Mama Chris might step in and be like, girl, the Tristan Thompson storyline is about done. His redemption arc is about over. We need someone else to step up. So maybe, actually, if it could be used to their benefit, Kim would apologize publicly, but until then, I don't know. Again, I think it's clear Taylor wants this to be over. The fact that this source is saying she wants to bury the hatchet tells me she wants this to be over, especially now that Kim and Kanye aren't married. But I also understand this can't be over for her until she gets that apology, until she gets that closure. So I don't blame Taylor one bit. Like I said, I also don't know if Kim will ever apologize, but obviously when anything major happens, I'll be sitting right here to fill you guys in. All right, you guys, that's all I have for you when it comes to Kim Kardashian and Taylor Swift. I want to hear all of your thoughts and feels down below. While you guys are at it, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button and don't forget that notification bell. For more content, make sure you guys follow me over on Instagram and TikTok. And of course, don't forget to keep coming back to my channel to check out my other videos and my YouTube shorts. You guys know if you want to show me a little extra love or you just want to make sure I see your comment, don't forget you can also hit that super thanks button down below. Also, don't forget to tune in on Monday for a live happy hour hang at 3:30 Pacific Standard Time. You guys can also check out all of my merch over at my merch store at houseofhill.com. And on that note, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.